Hi everyone, Amber here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 2 of my 5 Days of Fall series here on YouTube. This is a video series in which there is a new video uploaded every day for 5 days in which I will be showing you some fun ways to document your fall memories with some mini albums. So if you missed the first video, I will have that linked down below in the description box so you can check it out. And I hope that you will join me over the next 3 days for some more fun fall mini albums. In today's video, we are going to be making this teeny tiny album using some chipboard. So all of the measurements for this can be found down below in the description box as always. I have 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 2 by 3.5 inches and 3 smaller pieces that measure 2 by 1.5 inches. To wrap my chipboard, I'm using 2 pieces of paper that I'm going to adhere together end to end. These pieces measure 3 inches in height and about 11 inches or so in width. And I'm adhering them end to end since all of these pieces of chipboard lined up just measures too long to do it with a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I am putting my first piece of chipboard down right on the spot where we adhered the 2 pieces of paper together. That is going to be the spine, and putting it right there on top of that is going to help to hide the fact that we had to adhere 2 pieces of paper together. Then I'm just going to add the rest of my chipboard pieces in this pattern, which I will also have down below in the description box, so you can double check the order of your chipboard. Now that I have all of my pieces added to the wrapping paper, I am going to score along the edges of them so that it is easier to fold up all of my panels. I'm going to add my adhesive and then I'm going to cut the corners. Remember not to cut right up against the corners. We want to have a bit of excess paper left over so that later on we will have nice clean corners. So now that I folded over my 2 long sides and adhered them down, I'm using my scoring tool to tuck in that excess paper on the corners, and then I'm going to fold over and adhere the shorter sides down as well. Once that is done, it is time to add the lining. So we have the same situation we had with the wrapping, is that we don't have paper quite long enough to cover the inside of the album. So I am taking 2 strips of paper that measure 1 3/4 inches in height, and I'm just going to trim those down so that they will overlap just a little bit in the album and cover the space in between. So I believe one measured about 7 1/4 inch in length and the other was about 5 inches. You can kind of just eye it and estimate for yourself. You just want to have them overlap a little bit for security, and you want it to obviously cover the entirety of the inside of your album. So now that I have my pieces cut, I'm using a bunch of adhesive. I recommend when you are adhering your lining down to use a good amount of adhesive, as this will help to avoid air bubbles and keep everything nice and perfectly adhered to your album base. So once I get this one down, which I kept going back and forth on which way I wanted to place it, once I get that in place, it's going to be time to fold up on all of our chipboard pieces. So just make sure that you take your time doing this to find all of them, since we have quite a few in there, and just gently score on those lines, and then that is what your album should look like. I am using magnets to hold my album closed. I adhered these in kind of an awkward spot the first time, so I do take them off and place them again later, and I will show you how I go about fixing that mistake because it did tear the paper. So I'm moving on to the pages now. I have 8 pages and they measure 1 3/4 inch by 6.5 inches. Again, all the measurements can be found down below, and I'm just folding these pieces of paper in half. So altogether, we're going to have 16 pages to work with, which is a ton. So you have plenty of room for documenting and photos and journaling. To hold my pages in place, I'm using thin elastic. You can use twine or just regular string if you prefer. And I'm just double knotting those around the spine of our album. and I'm going to do this 8 times so that I can put all 8 of my pages in. And I think that this adds nice texture to the outside of the album. It gives the eye more to look at and kind of ties everything together nicely. So now that those are all knotted and around the album, I am just going to slip my pages in. So super easy way to make pages for an album. I love this technique because it's fast and quick, and that's the best kind of project to make. So now I am going to punch a hole in the other spine near the front flap of the album, and that is where I'm going to hang tassels and charms and all that fun stuff. So I'm using my crocodile to do that, and I am setting an eyelet in there as well. Now it's time to fix the magnet. So you can see that it tore the paper, which can be frustrating when you are crafting, but it's super easy to cover up. So for the inside magnet, I am just going to cover up the torn paper with a flower and then place the magnet under a petal of the flower to hide it and also secure it into place. And I'm just using hot glue to do this. And then once I find out where the placement of the second magnet should be, I'm going to glue that into place with some hot glue as well. And then to cover up the magnet and keep it in place, as well as to cover up that torn paper, I'm taking a strip of paper that measures 1 inch by 3.5 inches, and I am just adhering that right on top. And it matches the inner lining of the album, so it really tied everything nicely together. So here is a quick flip through of the finished embellished mini album. I think it turned out super cute. It's super tiny. I love tiny albums. They're so fun to make, and I think it's a great way to document your fall memories. So I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down below and I will do my best to help you. And I hope to see you guys the next 3 days for some more fun fall mini album tutorials. Take care and happy crafting. Bye.